Hi guys, welcome back to another video. James here at Bespoke, and I'm going to be doing some work on my own TK45 here, so I thought I'd just throw in a quick disassembly guide for you because a few people have asked how to take this thing apart, so I'm going to show you.
It's all about humanity.
Of course, if you're worried about risking your warranties and stuff like that, you don't obviously want to take this thing apart. You want to get either ourselves or a professional to do it. But if you're quite competent doing this thing, which I'm sure you are, if you're watching this, you'll be able to take this apart really easy. So let's get straight to it. First, we're just going to take off the stock, slide that off, and the extended battery cap that I use. We're also going to want to remove the iron sights and the key mod section here with the angled foregrip on. So we need a flathead screwdriver. So we're just going to quickly nip off these sights. You just remove the screw and the nut, and you'll be able to pull it off to the rear, and then just pop the fixtures back into the iron sights to keep them safe. Same with the front one as well. Slide that off the front there. I'm actually stripping this down because I want to Cerakote it, because just Cerakoted my Desert Eagle. So I'm wanting to do the same thing with TK45. I'm just going to grab a chair here to make this a little bit easier for me. So we took the iron sights off. You have to take your flash hider off, which you'll use like a 1.5mm Allen key at the bottom there and turn it off. I obviously don't use the standard flash hider. I actually use one of my own design, which is a nice hexagonal type here. So we're going to want to take the grip off as well. If you're taking this apart just to do gearbox work, or you're switching a hot rubber and a barrel out, which I highly recommend, you're obviously not going to have to do this on the front, but for what I'm doing I'm going to need to. So let's just take the key mod section off. 2.5mm Allen key. Right, so I've already just quickly punched this pin, so I'm just going to knock the rest of it out. It is self-retaining. And then we flip it over, we're going to want to hold the charging handle like so and pull the front off there. Then you can get access to your hop up unit in a barrel. They have this little section here which holds the hop unit in place. So it's a little plastic clip, take that out, and then the hop unit in the barrel. Slide off to the rear. You can obviously see I have a lovely Jaeger precision barrel here, which I do myself. And it's got an R-hop and bits and pieces like that in, which makes it perform very well indeed. So got the spring for the barrel there as well. Sits on the front of the barrel there. Let's do the top off first. So we're going to want to take the key mod handguard off. So it's an Allen key. I think it's a 2.5 as well. Yes, it is. So we have two screw heads on the left side. And as always, when you're taking this stuff apart, you're going to want to keep it all safe and together so you know where the screws and bits and pieces have come from. If I'm going too fast for you, just pause the video at certain steps and follow the instructions. So third screw off there, and then we're just going to slide this off the front just by pushing it. Very nice indeed. Much prefer their M-lock handguard, but you know, the key mod is what the TK45 come with, so I can't grumble. So the bits that I'm going to be coating on this are obviously the rail. I'm going to be doing the receiver, upper and lower receiver, then the rest I'm going to be leaving black for like a two-tone effect. There's not too many markings on this, it's just the KWA marking there, which I'm not too bothered about. I'll just sandblast this off and start afresh. So we've got a couple of Allen keys to remove. We might get away without messing with the barrel and the gas block. We might just be able to take this off and be done with it. So I'm going to need something to turn it with. This is going to be on quite tight, so I might have to just chuck this in the vise to turn this off. So I'll leave that for the moment. So let's take the grip off. So we've got a Allen key here, we've got one on the back, and then we've got the section which holds the trigger guard in place, as you'll see. 2.5mm Allen key. That's the one side. That's the other side. And then that, I think, is a 2. There's 1. 2. We can then pull that section off. And you'll see with the KWA, the newer line of KWAs, they have many more wires going to the motors and bits and pieces. And this is all their switch life extender stuff that they do. So we've got terminals that go both sides, we've got a screw on each side of the motor, and we've got a spade connector as well. So I can pull that spade connector off the black wire, and I can remove the screw. The screws aren't tight, so obviously when putting these back on, just be careful. Just see me back out there. Pop the red connector off. You'll see here the black and red terminals are just a bit of wire that's connected to each end with something in between. I'm not actually too sure what that is. I mean, at some point I'm going to be putting the gate tightening here anyway, so I'm not too fussed about it. And this is where, you know, you could, if you were fitting like another motor, you could obviously fit this on if you've got the space to. Or you could just pull it out, put a new one in and leave that part off. So I need to just lever the motor out if it wants to come out. There we go. Standard KWA motor, high torque, although not that much high torque because it's quite easy to spin. Once we've got those off, we want to go back to a normal crosshead type screw. Got 2 posi screws in here. Hold the grip on. That's 1. And that's 2. Then we can slide the grip off. Nice and easily done. Don't be afraid if one of your screws falls in here. It normally just falls out. If not, you could just go in the gearbox and remove it. It's not a massive deal. Helps having magnetic screwdrivers to keep this stuff handy. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the motor screws in the grip here if I can. If it wants to play ball. Keep them safe, so I'm going to put the grip screws in there and I can set that to one side. So let's take this off, this section here. I have to punch that pin back through again. I actually haven't had this part of the main receiver off yet, so it will be interesting. I think we're still on a 2.5. Yes, we are. 1. 2. I'm going to flip this over. Got 1. Got 2. And then we need to take the magwell off, the magazine catch even. I'm mixing my words up now. Let me just get a suitable Allen key. We are on 1.5. Take the magazine catch off. Quite a big bulky magazine catch there, as you'll see. Set that to one side, and then hopefully this is going to come off, is it? Still playing hard to get. Slide down, so just pull the magwell down. Nice and easy, look at that. So it's nice to see that we've got a nice chunk of metal in the back of the magwell there to support it. Next we'll obviously take the stock off. Apologies if I keep saying obviously. It's a bad habit of mine. I have many bad habits on camera, as you guys like to let me know. So we'll just remove the main rear screw. Then we can pull the rear stop portion off. The screw and the cap is just there. This is your spring adjustment. So this is this clever spring guide system that they've got here. So it's a quick detach or a quick change spring, and then you've literally, I've actually tightened mine up so it doesn't move in the lowest setting. You can just turn this, and then once that's sort of not butted up against here, let me see if I can do it actually. I've got an Allen key that's the right size. There we go. So you'll see you can rotate it in, and you just put more pressure on the spring. Very cool design. I like the fact that for the majority of the screws and stuff on this system they've used a 2.5, so I mean I've removed a majority of the screws with this one tool. Pull the spring out there as well. This is the standard spring that comes with it. And then again 2.5 Allen key on the screw on the sling point. Quickly just pull that off there. We can then slide that off the back of the receiver, and then this section here we can just loosen off. Keep going. Be careful it doesn't catch the wires, and then that piece will come off and out the way. As you can see, we're getting smaller and smaller and smaller. That pin, we have a body pin here which you want to remove as well. Which side is it in? It's in that side. So we're probably going to knock that pin back in that I've just removed. That pin does not want to come out. Whack and a half that did. That pin slides out. Let's pull that back pin out, and then we can see, nice and easy, gearbox comes out, slide release falls out as well. You can pull the whole gearbox system out. That you'll have seen was situated like so, which we can just pull out as well. We're obviously going to have to remove, actually looks like quite a reliable ambidextrous unit here, so I'm actually going to have to remove these to do the Cerakoting as well as that rear pin as well, which shouldn't be too much bother. I think it's just an Allen key in the back as well, so those bits will have to come off, but your receiver's off. Then we've got the gearbox. Go. Correct tool for the job. Pull that off, pull that off. And there is your 2.5 gearbox from KWA. So we've already took that off. The bit that you're going to need for the gearbox is a T10 Torx. You've got various screws here and here. I'm just going to take this part to show you, because obviously for the purpose of a disassembly video you're going to want to know how to get in the gearbox and what it looks like. So we'll just go ahead, remove these screws. And over the years, KWA has kept things very similar. The gearbox casings have always been this material and this finish. You know, you might see some reinforcement areas where they've beefed up the gearboxes for the recoils and the AEGs and such. But materials, methods and such are the same as they've always been. So this is your warranty sticker. Obviously, if you don't want to void your warranty, don't get doing this. Me personally, don't care about that warranty sticker. Let's take that off. So we have little crush washers on these screws as well. So as you're removing the screws, you're just going to want to keep the washers on the screws. Again, as well, if you're not used to taking these guns apart as much, a simple system which I've always told people when they've asked me pointers on how to do this, I mean, having done this for so many years, it's easy to keep track of where these parts go. I mean, usually I can have a gun apart like this, leave it for a month or two, come back and know exactly where I left off. But if you'll see how I'm placing the screws here, so if you don't want to particularly track or put like a little bag for your screws and labelling them where they came from, you'll see how I'm distributing the screws out here. So I've got the 4 top screws labelled, like basically positioned where they would be in the gearbox on the counter, and the rest I'm just sort of putting into position the same way. And then as long, like I say, if you struggle to keep track of where the screws are going, you don't know which screw went where, if you're placing the screws like this, I know they go in exactly that orientation in the gearbox, and then you can carry on as usual. I didn't have any trouble myself, like I said. However, if you have and you are struggling to keep up with where things went, that's the easiest method to use. So let's just crack the casing. Just freeing the gear shafts out the bearings, so as I pull the casing off, it's not bringing the gears with it. And then there you have it. You've got your top gearbox casing, you've got your bearings still in place there. They do know how to build strong gearboxes, KWA. Come on, out you come. And there you have the piston. It's a good inspection that I've been using this in a hell of a lot of game days. I've been running this on 11.1 on full auto and single shot. I have been abusing this thing, and there is no wear on the piston whatsoever. It's not a ported piston head, so if you're into that kind of thing, you might want to replace this with a ported piston head just for a better air seal and such. And that is how you get into your KWA TK45. Hope this has been as straightforward as possible for you. If you want any tips or any further advice, feel free to hit me up. james@bespokeairsoft.co.uk. You can also get us on Facebook and all the other bits and pieces. That is how to disassemble your TK45. Obviously you want to reverse the process to put it all back together. Things are going to be a little bit different getting the gearbox into the receiver, so just make sure everything's lined up. And stay tuned for another video where I'm going to be Cerakoting this thing and turn it into a bronze beauty. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.
It's all about humanity.